So we'll meditate together for about 20 or so minutes. Begin by establishing an upright posture. You can imagine a string pulling up the crown of your head towards the sky, elongating your spine. Notice and soften any tension in the eyes, the forehead. The jaw. Smile slightly on the inside of your mouth and soften the belly. Allow yourself to center with the breath naturally settling. You can continue to do your usual meditation or follow along for this Buddhanusati meditation, recollection of the Buddha. A skillful means to brighten the mind. You can imagine waking up in the middle of the Ganges River Valley, India. The rest of the household hasn't yet woken. It's quiet, pre-dawn. And suddenly you remember today is the day that you heard the Buddha was going to be coming. For months now, you've heard stories of a teacher wandering. You've seen glimpses of monks and nuns in ochre robes passing by the field where you work. You've heard murmured the name of the Buddha. They say he was a prince of the Sakyan clan who went forth and gave up everything. And something in your heart leaped up when it heard. And so finally today, he's come. So you quietly ease out of bed so as not to wake the rest of your family. Tiptoe into the kitchen where you light a lamp, and in that flickering glow you carefully cut a mango into pieces, one you chose specially from the market yesterday for this. You don't know if the rest of your family will be interested. This is for you. And as the sky lightens to a lighter gray, you leave the house, walk onto the dusty road, the outskirts of Savatthi. There's the usual neighbors going about their chores, a cart walking down the road, but also there's others walking away from the city, quietly, some with offerings. And you turn with them and walk out past the gates, joining a steadily growing current of people of all castes. There's Brahmins, Katyas, noble warriors, Vangsas, noble, the merchant caste, and you hear murmuring around you, quiet but excited words, the Blessed One. You see lepers. You see refugees from the wars you've heard of ravaging the cities around you, from the famine. The hardship and tragedy of life, and yet a light in so many of their eyes as they gaze towards the forest you all are walking towards, a strange hush falling over everyone as your feet begin to touch grass instead of dust. And you find yourself joining a crowd who's formed in a meadow bordered by sal trees. There's the usual whispers of a crowd, but somehow a strange quiet. And as you gaze over the heads of those in front of you, you finally, for the first time, see him. Somehow the Buddha looks like you thought he would, stand or sitting. Tall, quiet, a noble warrior caste, and somehow all the noise around you disappears, and there's just the rush of some timeless pulsing at your ears as you see suddenly something beyond all the suffering you've come from and known. A peace and compassion in a face which you hadn't realized you'd longed for so much until now. On his left, there's a row of bhikkhunis and nuns, names you've heard whispered before. These women who you've learned the Blessed One, so different than others, of your time has declared completely, equally capable of enlightenment. And on his right, a line of monks sitting calm. Other giants of the Sangha you've heard of, Venerable Ananda, Venerable Sariputta, composed, back straight, eyes closed. You see a line of villagers, merchants, wealthy, poor, all types, kneeling as they shuffle up to the Buddha where he sits at the roots of this tree and offering with outstretched hands a dish of curry, rice, anything. And your heart begins to pound as you join the line and move closer and closer to each person in front of you. You watch as he gives some small word or just a quiet gaze. Until finally you find yourself in front of him. And shaking, offer up the small plate of mango that you've prepared. And summoning your courage, you look up into his face and see a face looking back at you with utter compassion. A face you feel has known you, knows you as deeply as yourself. A face of compassion and also of hope. And he holds your gaze. A sense of utter safety. And in that moment, make that moment yours. What does that face look like to you? The deepest part of you broken open and held. Maybe he says a word to you, and what would that word be? What would that phrase be? Of comfort, of hope, of understanding. This highest aspiration upon which you've set your heart in this life. What would it mean to see it? To stretch your hands out to it, to meet its gaze. And just allow that face, that gaze, those words, to stay with you. On his deathbed, one monk, Vakali, lamented that he had not seen the Buddha more, and the Buddha said, What do you care about seeing this body, Vakali? One who sees the Dhamma sees me. And in this sense, the Buddha has never left us. So can you find that piece of yourself here now? Your highest potential, the greatest compassion. The North Star you found again and recognized, and home, true home. All in that gaze that you hold now. So we'll sit together with that for a time.